Welcome and good afternoon to all our community, Lean and BGB students, as well as other careers. On behalf of the SABGB, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Thank you for connecting on What PM. As you may know, we have a very special guest joining us today, who is streaming right now live from Paris. It is a true pleasure to see familiar faces and familiar names in the Zoom. And as we reach to the end of the semester, we want to thank you for your continued support in every event that is activity and every activity prepared for you. Today's conference is extra special. We have a Lean student to talk to us about her unique professional path and how she got in a topic that we may or may not know. And we know that very of you are interested in luxury and brand management. Although she has not yet graduated, she managed to acquire an immense amount of professional experience, which we are looking forward to hear. I said the word to Paulina. You go. Yes.
We thank you all for your presence today, and we hope you enjoyed the conference that, along with our speaker, we have put together for you under the name How to Build a Successful Luxury Brand in an International Context, all the way from Paris by Sabrina Morfin.
Before formally introducing our speaker today, we would like to remind you that you can leave your questions in the Zoom chat for our speaker to answer them at the end of the presentation. Sabrina Morfin is an international business student with masters in international and luxury and brand management. She worked in digital management, where she managed in campaigns on social media for different companies. She worked as an international business consultant at Baker Tilly, Mexico. She was a marketing assistant at Tendenza and Montblanc. And of course, right now, she is currently working at Accor Creative Studio, a creative agency within the Accor Hotel Group, where she is responsible for every creative project of the group and its brand, including publicity, visual identity, brand image, and positioning. Without further ado, we set the floor to you, Mrs. Sabrina.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. So first of all, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here. It's really an honor to come back to do things for the tech. I really miss my university in Mexico. So thanks a lot, and thanks for the introduction. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Please let me know when you see it.
We can see it.
Okay, so welcome all to How to Build a Successful Luxury Brand in an International Context. So first of all, although they already told you a little bit about who I am, I want to tell you my words a little bit. So educational background, so my bachelor's in international business in ITESM Campus Monterrey, which I absolutely love. You guys that are still studying there really embrace every moment and every opportunity that this university will give you. Thanks to my studies in Campus Monterrey, I was able to do a double degree program in Rennes School of Business in France. It's an international luxury and brand management master's degree. That's why I'm gonna talk to you about this industry. So for professional experience, I started as an international business consultant back in Mexico. This is where I had a taste of what mainly our bachelor is supposed to be. But after that, I decided to move on a little bit more into marketing strategy. I started a small company as a digital marketing strategist, where I worked with several brands to develop their social media plans and websites, webinars, and other things. I then moved as a marketing assistant, as they mentioned already, for brands like Tendenza and Montblanc. I've also had experience as a brand consultant for luxury and premium brands. I did this before coming back to Paris on how to build a little bit more like their brand, or how to recreate their foundations to position themselves as premium and luxury brands. And right now I am a junior account manager for luxury and premium brands at the group Accor. So for you who don't know what Accor is, it's one of the top hotel groups in the world. It's based in Paris, the headquarters. They have luxury, premium, mid-scale, and economy brands. Right now I'm working for both luxury and premium brands. Some of these brands you may know, at least banyan tree. There are a couple of them in Mexico, Sofitel as well. Now, how is international business and the bachelor in, how is it relevant in this industry? So from my experience, I've encountered, even though it's a creative agency within the group, there are a lot of situations where I have really used what I've learned during our bachelor. So from international market research, you need to know, for example, if you want to sell to another country, which country, what's the, who are you going to sell it to? What's their culture? How can you adjust your product or service to this specific type of country? That's super important. Knowledge about different cultures. We've been working with several campaigns where, for example, different freelancers, agencies have come to us showing some of the work they've done using, for example, number 4 for campaigns that were going to be shown in China. And in China, number 4 is not a good luck number, so we needed to change that. We need to take that back. Or, for example, filming some campaigns also. If the model had like a bikini or something, we couldn't show that in Middle Eastern countries. So it's having another set of everything, like clothes and scenes and everything, especially for this type of markets. So international negotiation within our group, even though we are like 20, we're over 10 nationalities, and we like all the teams that we speak with, it's different nationalities. So you need to understand and manage clients from different backgrounds, which are going to be super different on how they work. Also logistics. Right now, I'm literally looking how to transport like kilos of chocolate from Switzerland to Dubai for an expo. So for a PR event. So really, you're gonna get to see everything. And this is just a small window for you to see that even though you studied international business, it's not just like a square on imports, exports, and like all these like topics that we usually refer to as international business graduate. So now, luxury brands, what are they and how to build one? So first of all, the luxury brands, in order for a brand to be a luxury brand, it has to have certain characteristics as a fundamental. They need to be there. If not, it cannot be considered luxury. So these characteristics that a brand needs to be considered luxury, we have, I'm just gonna move my camera here because I didn't see the presentation. Okay. So first of all, craftsmanship. I'm gonna explain further all the different characteristics. So I'm just gonna name it right now. So craftsmanship, heritage, scarcity, brand identity, public figures, in-store experience, or right now, digital. So first of all, craftsmanship. So craftsmanship is creating an artistic thing with the hands, creating something beautiful, but something quality, top quality. But it's not only about like creating the final process with the hands, but it's also the whole process. The whole process needs to be top quality, top material. Everything needs to be carefully watched for it to be at the end a piece of art, because at the end, luxury products, you're gonna pay that difference amount of money for a luxury product because it's art. At the end of the day, it's gonna be art where you're gonna get. For example, I put this example from Dior. So if you can see these 2 dresses, so each one of them took more than 800 hours to be made. That's more than 2 months, each one of them. So it's a complete process. And of course, all the material is going to be of top quality. But also not only dresses, you can see also their perfume, their Star iconic perfume. It also has a handmade process during the manufacturing, as well as their bags. They all involve carefully setting this products. If we move, for example, jewelry, we have an example of Van Cleef and Arpels. So even though not everything is going to be, of course, made by hand, you are going to use technology and other things, but everything needs to be carefully done and really pay attention to. So this is how like they do this type of art. This is one of my favorite brands. It's Clase Azul Tequila. And what I was saying about also market research and how important it is. This brand is one of the top luxury tequila brands in Mexico. And the reason why a lot of people don't know this is because 95% of their clients are in other countries. They export 95% of the product, but they all do, they do all their products by hand. They do all their bottles by hand. So it's not only about the tequila being top quality, you need to do like a 360 audit on your product to make sure that everything is made carefully and being made beautifully to create the final product. So next thing, we're gonna move to heritage. So basically, all luxury brands, they either have history or they have a very good storytelling. So for example, we have brands like Raffles. Raffles is one of our brands from luxury hotel brands. We have Chanel, we have Ferrari. So all of these brands, they have a long heritage that came with the owner, with the original like creator. For example, Raffles, it was a brand created in 1887. And since then, a lot of royalty and really important people, important events have happened in Raffles. So brands use this heritage, this long history to create their brand essence and what they are right now. And that's what they communicate to connect with people. But what happens when it's a new brand? For new brands, we mainly refer, for example, European brands to be like the ones that have heritage, and more like American brands, the ones that are more based on storytelling, the newer ones. So if we put an example, Ralph Lauren, Off-White, they are not going to have this years and years of history that they can leverage from. Their owners may not, like the creators, the founders are not going to have this years of legacy, but they do create the story to be this like the medium to communicate with and engage the people. So how to create a good storytelling if you're a new luxury brand that wants to be positioned within this group of brands. So you need to develop a capturing history around the brand. And you're going to use this as a communication strategy. So everything you communicate is going to be based on this storytelling that you're going to create. Brand positioning, brand identity, brand image. We're going to talk about more about brand identity later on. And also it has to be aspirational. So these are like 3 ways to create a good storytelling for new luxury brands. Then we have scarcity. So scarcity, we can talk about it as exclusivity. So it's important to know that in luxury products, it's very key, the gap between how many people knows about you, how many people know the brand awareness, and how many people can actually buy you. This is a value that you're going to be able to sell, because luxury brands are mostly aspirational. So people, like, there are different reasons why people buy luxury, but one of them is going to be because they want to feel part of this exclusive group, right? So how do you feel part of this exclusive group? By being sure that people around you are going to know what you're wearing, because they're going to know the brand, but none of them, like a lot of them, are not going to be able to afford it. So this is a gap that's going to be very important for luxury brands. So to put an example, I took the Birkin bag from from Hermes. Maybe some of you have heard about it, maybe some of you haven't. So this bag from Hermes is super exclusive. Even when it came super popular, and right now people sell it for like thousands and thousands of dollars, they still limit the production of the bags per year. So this limited amount of bags per year, so that the brand produces, it's not an open number, it's secret, but it's supposed to be around 200. And you cannot even get it at a store. So if you want a Birkin bag, you have to be lucky enough to know someone, to be a really loyal client, to be called whenever a Birkin bag is going to be available. They are all unique pieces of art. So this is how you create scarcity, even though, because for example, there is a risk of massification, which happened with Michael Kors. So for brands to grow and kind of like be able to approach more targets, more customers, they start creating affordable products, so that, you know, they can sell more product and they can, you know, get more money. But then what happens? There is a feeling of lack of prestige now to Michael Kors, because now you can see it everywhere. So everyone can afford a product from Michael Kors. So then now it's not something people are going to want to buy, because that doesn't mean anything to them anymore. And for me, this is a super personal opinion, but I feel that Gucci right now, their strategy they're using, it's probably in the long term going to go somewhere. They are at a risk of massification right now, of people like seeing it not as exclusive as it's supposed to be. Sorry, the light is in my face. Okay. So yeah, brands need to be super careful about this when they are trying to grow. Then brand identity. This is one of the most important parts about creating a luxury brand. I mean, it's sad that we don't have more time and that I cannot like show you more videos, but I'm gonna try to explain it as best as I can with the time we have. So on brand identity, you're gonna have 6 key areas where you wanna be. You wanna make sure that you know what you're doing on these 6 areas, and you wanna be consistent, you wanna be coherent with everything you do in these 6 areas. So first of all, we have the physique. So this is everything that's tangible about your brand. You can do like all the visual identity, colors, logos, like packaging. This is all the physical, the tangible things. Then you have the relationship. On the relationship, this is how you engage your clients, how you relate with your clients, the process of communication and relationship you have with your clients, to create loyalty as well. Then you have reflection. This is how you as a brand see your ideal customer. Then you have self-image, which is the customer, how do they see themselves in a particular brand. Then you have culture. This is a set of values that your brand is going to have. And then you have personality, which is how are you going to talk about your brand, how are you going to act. So all these 6 key things, they need to be coherent. They need to be based on a same idea. So you cannot, your tone of voice cannot be friendly and very familiar and, you know, funny, when all the other things are going to be formal and serious. So you need to really make sure that all these 6 things are going to be aligned. And this is something that a lot of brands don't know how to do, because don't have like the structure and don't have like an idea of what they need to take care of. And then how you're going to develop it. So one of the most important ways you're going to develop it is through communication strategies. So for example, Rolex, so their culture, they do defend a lot of, they are advocates of art. So everything they communicate is also related to art. For example, they have a program of mentorship, where they select like top professionals of different art, different type of arts, and each one of them is going to sponsor like a student, and the brand sponsors this. So it's a way to communicate your values, your personality, how people see themselves in you, how you see them, your customer. But everything you do, it's going to be like this. So kind of like to illustrate it, after you do this, you're gonna be able to talk about your brand as a person. So if I ask you, for example, I don't know, Red Bull, what type of person, if Red Bull was a person, I'm sure all of us can describe Red Bull as a person, as someone that it's adventurous, it likes to do extreme things, it's very energetic. And then everyone will be able to describe Apple as a person as well. Someone that thinks different, someone that's innovative, someone that likes to try new things, and at the same time they like beautiful things and create things. So what happens if you sell the same product? Because here it's easy, we have an energy drink and we have a tech company. But what happens if you sell the same product? Still, you can have completely different personalities, completely different persons, even though it's the same product. So here in luxury, you need to remember that you're not selling the actual product, but you're selling the lifestyle, you're selling the dream, you're selling a status. So you do not sell the actual product, you're not sell a car. You're gonna sell being, like being engaged in sport activities, being able to have this exclusive and luxurious lifestyle that these products are gonna give you. But you're gonna sell the experience. You're not gonna sell the car itself. So here also, sorry, public figures are going to be a very important part of luxury brands, because as luxury brands, you're going to be someone that people are going to aspire to, right? So people are going to look for you and are going to be able, they're going to decide to pay more for your products because they are aspire to be part of something they're not at the moment. So it's going to be very important that you relate with public figures, but you really need to make sure that these public figures are going to personify your brand, that they're going to match your brand's DNA, because on the long term, I think we all know like some cases where some brands partner with like celebrities or superstars that were actually not aligned at the end with the brand. So it's going to damage the brand image, which is hard to go back to. So you need to really look for a long-term association if you're a brand that's starting right now. So I think that like the easiest way is to go with influencers. But I think that right now it's like very risky to just choose an influencer based on number of followers or yeah, basically just because everyone follows and stuff, because luxury brands are very they are very fragile in terms of the brand image. So if you right now have a brand that you're looking to like engage with influencers, just please make sure that it's not just based on the followers, and you truly make a full research on your brand identity and their identity to see if they match. For example, here we have Rolex. So, and then we have Roger Federer, and then we have Dior with Robert Pattinson. So it's going to be two different persons depending on the brand identity. Then we have in-store experience that is also going to be very important for the luxury brands. Right now there's a dilemma because of the digital e-commerce, and it's true. But for example, there are brands like Chanel, they still do not sell online, even though we just passed over 1 year of pandemic. They refuse to sell online. Why? Because they do feel that for their brand it's important to actually be present, feel the product, see the product. We can compare it against Gucci. Gucci right now, they even sell their products through video games. So they're really leveraging on all digital media. And right now, I think it's hard to really see the real consequences of Gucci deciding to go all digital. But at least like we are sure that there are some brands that completely refuse to do so, and Chanel is like one of the best luxury brands. So it's also important to if you're gonna go digital, because I mean right now probably you do need to make sure that the experience is gonna be amazing. You need to really make sure you need to like figure out how to translate your in-store experience to the digital. So why is the customer service so important in luxury? Because as I was saying, you're not competing by price. You're not competing by location. You're not competing by most of the things that all of the other products compete with. So you really need to make sure that there's loyalty towards your brand. And this is the way you're going to do this is through customer service. And this is a really key way that you're going to differentiate yourself. So as an example, Fairmont is also another brand that we have. Their guest experience is really, really amazing. So they even have like this check-in, which is for like gold clients. It's what they call like it's gold Fairmont. So you have this check-in where you don't have to see people actually. You just go into your like VIP personal check-in. You don't have to see other people checking in. And all you do, it's gonna be kind of like private, also like dinner experiences, you can do private. So it's having all this, of course, for hotels, it's different because it's all about the service and the experience. But for other brands, it should be as well, to have like the Fairmont experience, to be able to say, yes, like I had the Hugo Boss experience, because for example, Hugo Boss and like other luxury brands, they all have a map on how are their stores going to be. They have everything, like every detail measured. Every in-store experience is going to be the same. So this is something that's really going to have to go to your brand guidelines. A lot of like most of the brands, to be sure that they have all of these things aligned, they have this book that's called like the brand guidelines. So this is a lot of the things that we do at the studio. We make sure that everything is written on the brand guidelines, even the tone of voice. For every campaign, we need to deliver a tone of voice deck or toolkit, where even the brands and the people that work in the brands, they have like specific vocabulary they need to use. They cannot use different words that are not within the guidelines. So they really, in luxury brands, they really, really are very careful on every single detail, on how to use every color, how to use every logo, how to use certain images that are never going to be used. It's really just making sure that everything is going to be fully aligned. Going back to that's why this is so important, going back to the brand identity. So this is going to be like the fundamental on your brand, and then from this it's going to grow like all the other different areas of the luxury brand. So yeah, so I'm gonna go right now with the questions. So I don't know if someone has any questions about what I do, about what I just said.
Yes, we have a question here from Paulina. Aside from Michael Kors losing their luxury status, what is another brand that you think is in the same road to losing that luxury status?
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, so for me, Gucci, it's on the road. And I think that I think you're from Mexico, and I think that in Mexico, the luxury industry, it's in very different than in Europe. In Europe and mostly in France, it's kind of like a culture. It's like part of their DNA. In Mexico, I guess it's until now it's been more seen as aspirational. But for me, for example, in Mexico, as you can see it, Gucci is being used super differently. And they also risk of having a lot of piracy within the products. So for me, the fact that Gucci is even selling their clothes and products in video games, at some point for me, that could be a risk of massification.
Great, yeah, I totally agree with you that in that sense that Gucci is making themselves noticeable in any single way possible they can find, even in younger audiences, could make them lose or be at risk to lose that luxury status.
Yeah, like
Another,
the prestige of the brand.
yes. Another question is, what has been your greatest challenge working in a luxury hotel or in the luxury hospitality business?
I think that one of the biggest challenges is this of trying to move a brand that's so based on their history. Like, for example, Raffles or Fairmont, they're really based on their history, and their clients are mostly people that have been with them for years and years. but right now there's a necessity of moving towards a new generation. And I think that one of the challenges is trying to like balance, how do we keep this brand DNA, the roots that the brand has, and how do we translate it to like a modern, a younger target. So it's very difficult to try to build like new campaigns, new things with like younger models, because for example, some people in the brand may say like, no, but like this is not gonna be something that's gonna attract like our, you know, like our target right now, but somehow you right now you have to be relevant for younger people because in the future they're gonna be your customers. So I think that that is a very delicate thing, because there are a lot of brands that have made a mistake on trying to move to another type of younger target. For example, Tiffany. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot put you like more videos to kind of like explain what I'm saying. But for example, Tiffany, they did a campaign with Ella Fanning, trying to like target younger audiences. They even made a hip hop song, and in the video they kind of like are dancing like hip hop and stuff. But it went off completely of what Tiffany was. At the end, they ended up removing the whole campaign. Like the campaign is not longer in YouTube, like in their official YouTube. You can find it in other channels, but they ended up like completely deleting this new campaign that of course it would have cost, I don't know, millions. So it's a very thin line on trying to attract the younger generations, but like keeping who you are as a brand more in luxury brands, because a lot of them have like this long heritage and legacy behind them.
Yeah, I think that would be a great challenge overall, not only for the hospitality luxury business, but for all the luxury segments in the industry. Now going for a little more personal question, what is your favorite luxury brand?
My favorite luxury brand, I really want to say right now, Clase Azul. So it's the luxury brand that I showed you. I'm gonna go back to there so that you can see it. And maybe it's a weird answer because, you know, when everyone talks about luxury, I think we think about fashion. And I do have like a lot of, you know, favorite fashion luxury brands, but for me right now, Clase Azul is the one that inspires me the most. So everything they do, it's art for me. All the process they have, and like I'm gonna tell you a little bit like a quick story of the brand. So this brand started as a regular tequila, nobody bought it. Then the owner kind of like decided to do one luxury bottle, sell it for like a really high price, and it sold out. And this is how he knew there was this market, and there was this opportunity in the market. So this is how he started his luxury brand. And for me, the fact that they're still super, like the roots, they still have it like really in Mexico's culture. I love it, because right now a lot of the, you know, like top luxury brand, tequila brands, they are owned by other like international companies. So for me, the fact that they grew until this point but still remain really faithful to their origins, that really inspires me. And for me, that's what a luxury brand is.
Thank you. Now we have a really interesting question from Renata. Can you go from being a non-luxurious brand to a luxury-driven strategy?
Yes, you can, but there are different ways. So it is important to know that, for example, Lacoste, they were selling their clothes in supermarkets a long time ago, and they turned the brand upside down. And there are a lot of brands that have done this. It is possible. It's a full rework on the brand identity that involves everything. So it's gonna be, I'm sorry, where is it? So you're gonna need to rework on your core message that it's gonna reflect on your physique, your relationship, your reflection, your self-image, culture, and personality. But it is possible. You can, maybe you're gonna have to change the name, or you're gonna have to change some things, you know, logo, feel, and everything. But yeah, definitely with with some work, it's definitely possible.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. And another question is, should the brand identity adapt to different cultures or should it remain universal?
I think that it definitely should not more than not like not probably not adapt, but they really need to be conscious about the different cultures. Why? There's a lot of cultural appropriation going on in luxury brands, and the fact that you are a luxury brand, you're going to be in the media target. So people are going to talk about it. If you miss one time, people are going to remember. There's a lot of cases of brands that have had scandals on cultural appropriation. There was this brand, I think it was Dolce & Gabbana, that they did a campaign for the Chinese New Year with Chinese using like chopsticks for eating pizza or chopsticks for eating pasta, but like in a ridiculous way. And of course, one of the most important markets in luxury brands is China. Like in some years, it's going to be almost 2/3 of the market, the world market. So of course, they had a lot of backlashes coming from China because of some cultural appropriation. Mexico has also suffered for a lot of cultural appropriation on designs, on like indigenous designs, that of course brands from this size abuse of. But yeah, so I think that you, as a luxury brand, probably sometimes you are going to need to adapt, but at some points, if you do not adapt, you need to be conscious about all the cultures.
Thank you, thank you. It is, I believe it is really important for brands to do that. Now, how did you ended up in France, but also how did you ended up working for Accor?
So in France, I ended up here thanks to the double degree program that I did with Tech, with the Tecnológico de Monterrey. There were like many options. Yeah, it's a funny story about how I ended up here because there were many options. I decided France because I had already studied French for some years and I thought it was like the place to be. I was actually going to do a global business management master's. And Adrian, you can confirm this story. I was already registered at this program and just one day I just thought, I had a hard feeling of saying like, no, I don't know why, but I just want to go and study luxury. It was like the first really approach and like that I had to luxury. I had never been very like interested in like the luxury industry before. So I just called Adrian and I told him like, no, let's change, let's go to luxury. And it was completely the best decision that I've made. Right now, I'm like super, super happy that I studied this. It's an industry that really inspires me. And it's something that we don't get a lot in Mexico. So coming here to France and being like surrounded by all of this and like really being like seeing luxury as part of their culture, it's super interesting. And then working in Paris. So it was part of the program to do like an internship here. Well, not here, you can do it anywhere, but I fought for like 1 year for this. And yeah, and I was able to come back to Paris and yeah, now work at Accor.
Great, and I believe it has been and it will also be an amazing experience throughout the years. Now, how do you feel about luxury brands expanding their portfolio into other luxury categories? Example, Hermes going into cosmetics. Is this a good idea or should luxury brands stick to their expertise?
I think it's a good idea, and I think it depends on the strategy you have. For me, Hermes going to cosmetics with the lipsticks, for me, it was a very interesting move. It was very good. But I do think that you need to be careful of every other like product that you go to. You need to be the same quality. Okay, example. So a lot of the luxury brands, the sunglasses, they do not manufacture them, they do not produce them, they just like sometimes design them. If not, they're part of another company, for example, Luxottica. They license, they give licenses to create like the the sunglasses, sorry. But lately, both Kering and LVMH have been not signing those licenses anymore because they saw that there was starting to be a problem on the prestige that was in the quality on their glasses. So they decided to make this an internal process. So for example, LVMH created their own internal like company, small like a small company. LVMH is like one of the top luxury groups. They own almost all the brands we all know, and they started creating again in-house their products as well as Kering with Gucci. So I think you just need to be very careful because probably like most of the companies do this to have more income, because of course luxury brands, they do not have a lot of income just on their top couture clothes, because it's not very affordable to a lot of people. So they do this strategy to kind of like be able to have more income. And one of the examples that I think it's also good is Armani. You can see like all the different products they have, and they were able to kind of like separate the different categories, but it's super it's a fine line between diluting the brand prestige or actually nailing it and keeping the same prestige, even though you create more affordable products.
Thank you. We have here a question. Do you have any internships?
Right now, no, there are not any internships right now. I mean, in the studio, but there are a lot of, if you're interested in internships, guys, I really recommend use it LinkedIn. So that's really a super powerful tool. I'm sure Adrian already told you, but that's the way I got this job right now. So you just really make sure your CV, your LinkedIn looks nice, and keep applying. You can, if you have a favorite brand, you can go straight to their website. They're gonna have their career website. You're gonna be able to see a lot of opportunities, and you're gonna be able to apply. And most of these really huge companies, they do have a very good intern program. So yeah, super recommended, both LinkedIn and going straight into their websites.
Yeah, so now you know, guys, you need to work on your LinkedIn profiles to get that
You do.
internship you want. Okay, so
You do.
get working on them. Now, how has your personal perspective of brands changed since you are related to the luxury market?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, how has your personal perspective of brands changed since you are related to the luxury market?
I think a lot. I do value more the process behind the product and the story and the values of each product. So I do feel that right now, for me to like spending money on a brand, it really, for me, it really requires more like an understanding of the brand and to really know what I'm like supporting. And right now, I do feel that sustainability is super important. And even though there are some brands, some luxury brands that are not sustainable at all, like in general, they are, because they are not like mass consumption, and they are not gonna exploit, and they're not gonna, like need to produce a lot of things at the same time. So most of them are more artesanales, more like craftsmanship. So they're probably gonna be more sustainable than buying in like, and I'm not gonna name fast fashion brands, but yeah, definitely I think there's there's a better appreciation of the product that you're buying when you understand the processes and the things that come behind a product.
Nice, thank you. And we're going to move on to the last question due to time. It is, what are the main communication channels you use, and which ones do you recommend to start branding your company and its products?
So it's different if you're starting right now, really, social media, it's the best way. It's the cheapest way. It's the yeah, it's like the fastest way to start creating your brand awareness. Because I mean, luxury brands right now, they still use a lot of print and TV and stuff, but those are things that if you're just starting, you're not going to be able to afford, like obviously. So I do recommend to keep like having your profile on all your social media like top, but remember, try not to give in into like just creating content for creating content, and just like if you see that a brand posts 5 times a day and you can just produce one quality per day, one like quality post per day, just go for your one quality. You don't want to start just filling your social media with, you know, quick with quick posts or quick material or content, just to, you know, keep feeling, because this is going to feel immediately in your followers. If a follower is really looking for premium and luxury products, a one like not good content can completely make that the person lose interest in the brand. You need to be really consistent. That would be my advice. So keep going social media. It's great right now. It's an amazing tool. But really be consistent on what you share and how you talk about your brand. So here, for example, talking about personality, the tone of voice, you really need to make sure you set your guidelines on how you as a person / brand talk to people, how you as a person / brand relate to people. You need to have these points really clear to make sure you're going to give a consistent message through your social media accounts.
Perfect. So now, on behalf of the whole community, I would like to thank you, Sabrina, for such a wonderful conference, full you straight out from the work field. And thank you for the time you took off your schedule for coming and talking to us about your experience. Hearing what you have done and learning at such a young age is inspiring and a perfect example of exploiting our potential and drives and make a job out of it. So I'm sure with all these new learnings, we will be able to apply them in our future professional careers. We'd like to deliver you this digital recognition for your participation in today's conference from all of the BGV community and Tecnológico de Monterrey. We thank you once again for your contribution.
No, thank you. Thank you for everything. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, so thank you everyone for connecting. Thank you, Sabrina, for this amazing conference. I know that many of the assistants are taking right now a time to thank you. It was really a pleasure to be here with you. I will send right now to the chat a small ECOA, and if you let me, I will switch to Spanish to give some announcements, final announcements. Bueno, muchísimas gracias por conectarse a toda la comunidad. Estamos mandando justamente ahorita un pequeño link de COA. Como saben, todavía nos queda un semestre de gestión y estar aquí para ustedes, para representarlos, para hacer eventos, para hacer cosas que sean de valor académico y personal para ustedes. Entonces les pediríamos muchísimo, les agradeceríamos muchísimo que llenen estas preguntitas. Y pues más que nada, otra vez agradecer por estar aquí en cada evento. Sé que hacemos ahí algunas cosas cada semana y luego todos los días, luego no y luego así. Entonces muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo que nos han dado. Perfecto. Bueno, entonces otra vez muchísimas gracias. Otra vez, Sabrina, muchas gracias por el espacio, por estar aquí con nosotros. Y pues bueno, esperamos verlos tanto la siguiente semana como pues en los siguientes eventos. Muchísimas gracias por conectarse.
Gracias a ustedes.
Gracias. Ay, me dijeron que foto. Bueno, no pasa nada. Ahí los que quedaron, alcanzamos
Aquí sigo.
Aquí los alcanzamos a sonreír. A ver, 1, 2. Otra. 1, 2. Perfectísimo. Gracias a todos los que prendieron cámaras.
Sabrina, si quieres leer, te están poniendo comentarios bien bonitos de todos.
Ay, a ver, voy a leer.